away. The voices that once reassured you grow silent. The hands that once held you release their grip. And suddenly, you are left asking painful questions. Did I expect too much? Did I trust wrongly? Or did people simply change? We grow up believing that consistency in people is guaranteed. But life teaches us otherwise. People change because of pressure. Some change because of success. Some change because loyalty becomes inconvenient. Yet, in every season of shifting hearts, God remains the same. This is a story about disappointment. But more importantly, it is a story about learning where trust truly belongs. Friends, this is Iden Stories. We're so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us again. Get ready to be inspired, encouraged, and reminded of God's unchanging love. Sometimes I sit back and think about how far we've come, Michael. We didn't start with much, just hope, prayers, and each other. We faced moments when things looked uncertain, when life tested our patience and our faith. And yet, here we are, still standing, still dreaming. No matter what happens in life, whether seasons change, whether people change, whether success or hardship comes our way, promise me we won't change toward each other.
Sarah, I've thought about that too. Life has a way of reshaping people, sometimes gently, sometimes harshly. But what we share wasn't built overnight. It was built on trust, honesty, and countless prayers whispered when no one else was listening. We've come too far to let circumstances rewrite who we are to each other.
I just fear that one day, if things get better for one of us, or harder for the other, we might forget these simple moments. The laughter, the shared dreams, the late-night talks where we believed God would make a way. I don't want success to make us proud or pain to make us bitter.
That's a real fear, and it's honest. But here's my promise, even if the world changes around us, even if we grow and evolve, my heart toward you will remain the same. I want us to grow in wisdom, not drift apart in pride. I want us to remember that God connected our paths for a reason.
Then let's promise to always talk, even when it's uncomfortable. Let's promise to pray for each other, not just celebrate together. And if one of us ever starts to change in a way that hurts the other, let love be strong enough to call it out gently.
I promise. No matter where life takes us, I choose loyalty over convenience, truth over silence, and faith over fear. Whatever comes next, we face it together.
I don't know how we are going to get through this, Michael. Everything feels like it's falling apart at once. I pray, but sometimes the answers feel so far away.
I feel it too, Sarah. Some nights I lie awake wondering if I'm strong enough, or if I'm doing enough. But even when the road is dark, we're not walking it alone. God sees us, and we have each other. That has to count for something. I've tried everything. Doors keep closing, and each rejection feels heavier than the last. It makes me question my worth.
Your worth isn't measured by doors that close. Sometimes God allows delays to shape us, not to shame us. I believe in you, even on days you don't believe in yourself.
It's not the news we hoped for, but it's not the end either.
Then we'll hold on to the little hope we have. Even a small light is enough to keep moving forward. God, we don't have all the answers. But we trust you with our tomorrow. Please don't let this season break us. God, we don't have all the answers. But we trust you with our tomorrow. Please don't let this season break us.
Teach us patience. Teach us humility. And if we must pass through this storm, let us come out stronger and kinder.
They survived storms together. They held hands in the rain. They prayed in the dark and hoped in the silence. Or so Sarah believed.
Sarah. Sarah, look here.
What is it? You look like you've seen a ghost, or a miracle.
I got the promotion. After all the waiting, all the rejections, all the nights we prayed, this is it. They didn't just approve it. They fast-tracked it. Everything is changing for me.
Michael. That's amazing. I remember how many times you came home discouraged, wondering if anyone even noticed your effort. This is such a big breakthrough.
It doesn't feel real yet. One message and suddenly my name is on a different list, my responsibilities are bigger, and my future looks different. I keep thinking about where I was just months ago. I never imagined it would happen this way.
I imagined it. Not the details, but the outcome. I always knew your diligence would speak for you. I'm so proud of you, not just for the promotion, but for how you stayed faithful even when things were uncertain.
This opportunity means more than a title. It means new people, new spaces, new expectations. I won't lie, it's exciting, but it's also scary. Change has a way of testing who you really are.
Then let it reveal the best in you. Remember, this blessing didn't come to replace your values. It came to reward your perseverance. Wherever this takes you, don't forget where God brought you from, or the people who stood with you.
You're right. I don't want success to make me lose sight of what matters. I just hope I can carry everyone along as I step into this new season.
You're not walking into it alone. I'm genuinely happy for you, Michael. I pray this new chapter brings growth, humility, and even greater purpose. You deserve this. He must be busy. New responsibilities, new schedule. That's understandable. Change always demands attention at first. I remember when silence between us was never this loud. Even on the busiest days, we found a way to talk, even if it was just a few words to say we were okay. Now I'm staring at a screen, wondering if I'm still part of the picture or just a memory from a season he has outgrown. We promised not to change. We promised to communicate, to carry each other along when life shifted. I know growth is necessary, but I never imagined it would come with distance, with unanswered calls, with this quiet feeling of being slowly left behind. Sometimes change doesn't announce itself with arguments or goodbyes. It doesn't knock loudly or ask for permission. Sometimes change simply creates silence, missed calls, delayed replies, and hearts slowly drifting out of reach. I don't want to assume the worst. I'll choose patience over fear, faith over doubt. Still, I can't ignore the ache this silence leaves behind. Because silence, when it replaces connection, speaks louder than words ever could. Sarah sits calm. She scrolls slowly through Michael's social media, photos of business meetings, group dinners, unfamiliar faces, confident smiles. When did all of this begin? When did your world become so full that there was no space left for me? I recognize your smile, but I don't recognize the people standing beside you, or the life you seem to be living now. I stood with you when there was nothing to post about, no achievements to celebrate, no audience to impress. I remember the version of you that doubted himself, the nights we prayed when hope felt thin. Now I'm watching your life unfold through a screen, like a stranger observing from the outside. When did I stop being important? When did my presence become optional instead of essential? I didn't leave. I didn't change my loyalty. Yet somehow, I'm the one left questioning my place. I don't envy your success. I just miss the closeness we once shared. I miss being part of your everyday life, not an afterthought. I'm trying to understand whether this distance is temporary, or if it's the beginning of an ending I was never warned about. Michael, I've been rehearsing this conversation in my head for days, because I didn't want to speak from pain or accusation. I just need honesty. Lately, I feel like I've been walking alone in a space we used to share together. I keep asking myself if I did something wrong, something that made it easier for you to grow distant without looking back. Please tell me, did I do something wrong?
Sarah, you didn't do anything wrong. I've been busy. The promotion came with pressure I didn't anticipate, constant meetings, expectations to perform, people depending on me. My days are packed, and by the time I remember to breathe, the day is already over. It's not that I stopped caring. I'm just trying to keep up.
I understand responsibility. I understand growth. What I don't understand is silence. Being busy doesn't erase the need for connection. We survived worse seasons than this together, and yet back then, you still found time to ask how I was doing. Now, I feel like I have to compete with your schedule just to be remembered.
I didn't mean for it to come across that way. I thought giving you space was the mature thing to do. I assumed you knew that this season would change things, and that you'd adjust too.
Space without reassurance feels like abandonment. Adjustment without communication feels like rejection. I wasn't asking to be your priority over everything else, I was asking not to be erased while you were becoming something new.
I really have to take this call. Let's talk later when things calm down.
That's what you've been saying for weeks. Heartache isn't always loud. Sometimes it sits quietly across from you, unanswered. So this is what it feels like when someone drifts away, not with shouting, not with a dramatic goodbye, but quietly, almost invisibly. I watched him leave, and for a moment, I thought he might turn back, look at me, offer some reassurance that everything was still okay. But he didn't. He just walked, like our closeness was optional, like the bond we built over years could be set aside as easily as a closed door. I remember the nights we stayed up talking, the dreams we shared, the promises whispered in low voices that only we could hear. I thought those moments were unshakable. I thought love and loyalty were stronger than deadlines, responsibilities, or change. But maybe I was naive. Maybe I believed in permanence when life only promises movement. And now I realize, some people don't walk away loudly. They fade. And when they fade, it doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a slow erasure, a quiet vanishing that leaves you staring at what's left, wondering when it all slipped away. Some people don't walk away with a storm or a confrontation. They drift into shadows, leaving silence in their wake. And silence has a way of teaching lessons far louder than words ever could. Linda. I don't even know where to start. I relied on him for so much, for guidance, for reassurance, for companionship in moments I felt completely alone. I believed we were building something unshakable, a bond that could survive anything. And now I feel like I've been abandoned. It's like the person I thought I knew has disappeared, replaced by someone I barely recognize. I keep replaying our conversations, our shared dreams, wondering if I missed some sign or if I did something to push him away. But I didn't. I stayed faithful, I stayed committed, I stayed loyal, And still, here I am, left with this emptiness. Sarah, I hear your pain, and I understand it more than you can imagine. People change. Sometimes slowly, sometimes without warning. Circumstances shape them, opportunities reshape their focus, and pride, or even fear, can pull them in directions you never anticipated. But one thing that never changes is God. His love, His guidance, His faithfulness, they are constant, even when the people we trust falter. When we feel abandoned, when our hearts ache over someone's absence, God is the anchor that holds us steady. Lean on Him. Not because He replaces the people we love, but because He never leaves us, and His wisdom often carries us through the seasons that human hearts cannot navigate alone. I know you're right. I know He's always been there. But it's hard, Linda. It's hard to reconcile the man I trusted with the silence I feel now. It's hard to accept that change can come without explanation, without closure. Sometimes I feel like I'm mourning someone who's still alive, someone I see every day, yet cannot reach anymore. That's exactly why you must hold on to God. People will fail, hearts will drift, circumstances will shift, but God's timing, God's wisdom, God's love, they are immovable. Let this season teach you not just about the fragility of human loyalty, but also about the strength and sufficiency of God. Trust Him to restore what needs restoring, and trust Him to carry you when restoration isn't immediate. You may feel abandoned, but you are never forsaken. Lord, why does this hurt so much? I trusted Him, Lord. I gave my heart completely, believing in the bond we build, believing that loyalty, faith, and love would be enough to keep us together. I prayed for Him when He doubted, I stood by Him when life pressed heavily on His shoulders, and I celebrated every small victory like it was mine too. And yet, it feels like all that trust, all that love, means nothing now. It feels like I've been left behind in a season I didn't even see coming. I don't understand, Lord. Why is it so painful when someone you've invested in walks away quietly? Why does absence feel like rejection, like a reflection of my worth? I keep asking myself if I failed Him in some way, if I wasn't enough, if I somehow caused this distance. And yet, deep inside, I know I loved faithfully, I gave fully. And still, here I am, aching in silence. Lord, I need You. I need You to remind me that my worth isn't defined by someone else's choices. I need You to restore my heart, to teach me how to let go without bitterness, to trust that Your plans are greater than my understanding. Help me cling to You, even when my emotions scream that I've been abandoned. Help me remember that even in this silence, You are speaking. Even when I can't hear it clearly. Teach me, Lord, to wait patiently, to trust fully, and to let go gracefully. Remind me that healing starts in You, not in the hands of someone who cannot stay. I can't see the path right now, but I believe You can guide me through this darkness. I believe You can turn this hurt into strength, this pain into clarity, and this loss into a lesson I can carry forward with peace. Lord, I placed my trust in people, and now I'm empty. I poured out my heart, my loyalty, my time, believing that what I gave would be guarded and valued. I leaned on human promises, on words that felt so certain at the time. And now those promises feel distant, almost forgotten, leaving me with a heaviness I don't know how to carry on my own. I realize now that I anchored my hope too much in someone else's consistency instead of Yours. I expected people to remain steady in ways only You can. And when they changed, when they drifted away, my heart collapsed under the weight of disappointment. Lord, I feel drained, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. I don't have the strength to pretend I'm okay anymore. Yet even in this emptiness, I come to you because I know you are the only one who can truly fill what's been lost. Teach me how to trust you more deeply than I trust human connections. Teach me to release what I can no longer hold without resentment or bitterness. Heal the parts of me that feel abandoned, and remind me that you have never left, not even for a moment. I place my broken expectations, my unanswered questions, and my weary heart into your hands. Rebuild me, Lord. Restore my peace. Let this season not harden me, but humble me. I may feel empty now, but I believe you can refill me with hope, strength, and faith that doesn't depend on people staying. Pastor, I came here because I feel confused and tired in my spirit. I placed so much trust in someone I believed God brought into my life. I relied on that relationship for strength, reassurance, and stability. When things changed and the distance grew, it felt like something inside me collapsed. I've been praying, but I still feel this ache, like I lost not just a person, but a sense of security I thought would always be there.
Sarah, what you're describing is something many people experience, but few are willing to admit. God never designed people, no matter how good, loving, or well-intentioned, to replace Him in your heart. Human relationships are meant to support us, not sustain us. When we lean too heavily on people for what only God can provide, disappointment becomes inevitable.
I didn't realize I was doing that. I thought I was just loving deeply, being loyal, being supportive. I didn't see the line between companionship and dependence until it was crossed. Now I feel empty, like I don't know how to stand on my own again.
That emptiness you feel isn't a sign of failure, it's an invitation. God is gently drawing your attention back to Him, reminding you where your true source of strength lies. People can walk with you, but only God can anchor you. This season is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to realign your heart.
So this pain, it has a purpose?
Yes. Pain often becomes the doorway to deeper understanding. Let God fill the space that was occupied by misplaced trust. As He restores you, you'll learn how to love people without losing yourself in them. And when you do, your relationships will be healthier, stronger, and guided by wisdom rather than fear. Sarah, when people change, and they almost always do, it doesn't only reveal their character or the season they're in. It also reveals where your foundation truly was. If your peace collapses completely when someone shifts, it's often a sign that your sense of security was resting more on them than on God. That realization can be painful, but it's also deeply freeing.
That makes sense. And it explains why this hurt feels so overwhelming. It wasn't just losing closeness with Him. It felt like losing stability, direction, even identity. I built my expectations of the future around a person instead of around God's will. And when that person changed, everything I thought was certain began to shake.
Exactly. Foundations are tested by pressure, not comfort. When everything is smooth, we don't notice what we're standing on. But when someone walks away, grows distant, or disappoints us, the ground beneath our feet is exposed. God allows these moments not to shame us, but to show us where reinforcement is needed.
So God wasn't punishing me. He was teaching me?
Yes. Teaching you how to anchor your heart in something unchanging. People can inspire, support, and encourage you, but only God can sustain you. When your foundation is in Him, change will still hurt, but it won't destroy you. You'll grieve, but you'll remain grounded.
I see it now. This season isn't about loss alone, it's about truth. It's about learning where my trust belongs and how to rebuild my life on something eternal instead of temporary.
And that understanding, Sarah, is the beginning of healing. Truth may be uncomfortable, but it sets the heart free. Do not put your trust in princes, nor in a son of man, in whom there is no help. Psalm 146, 3. This scripture is not telling us that people are evil or undeserving of love. It's reminding us of something deeper, that no human being, no matter how strong, influential, or close to us, has the capacity to carry the full weight of our trust. People have limits. They get distracted, they change priorities, they grow weary, and sometimes they walk in directions we never expected.
When I hear that verse now, it feels personal. I trusted him as if he would always be there, as if his consistency was guaranteed. I didn't realize I had given him a place in my heart that should have belonged to God alone. And when that trust was shaken, everything inside me felt unstable.
That's exactly why the scripture is so important. God knows the fragility of human nature. He knows that even the best of people can disappoint us, not always intentionally, but inevitably. This verse is God's way of protecting your heart, warning you not to build your life on something that can shift.
So trusting God doesn't mean I stop loving people. It means I stop depending on them to be my foundation.
Exactly. Love people freely, support them sincerely, but anchor your soul in God. When your trust is rooted in Him, you won't crumble when others fail. You'll feel the pain, yes, but you'll also have peace. Scripture isn't just truth on a page. It's wisdom meant to guard your heart.
I want to learn to trust God first again, to let His word be the voice that steadies me when people change. This isn't anger. It isn't revenge. And it isn't me pretending that the memories didn't matter. It's me finally accepting what is, instead of holding on to what used to be. I kept hoping things would return to how they were, but hope without truth only deepens the wound. I loved sincerely. I stayed faithful. I showed up when it was inconvenient. Letting go doesn't erase that. It doesn't mean I failed. It simply means I'm choosing peace over constant disappointment. I can't keep reaching for someone who no longer reaches back. Letting go is not bitterness. It is wisdom. It is the courage to release what no longer nurtures your spirit, and the humility to accept that some seasons end without apology. Lord, I release what I cannot change. I forgive without needing an explanation. I choose healing over holding on. Teach me to move forward without carrying resentment, and to remember without reopening wounds. Sarah. I don't know how to explain it, but you look different. Not just happier, lighter. It's like something heavy that used to follow you around has finally been lifted. There's peace in your eyes again, the kind that doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. I feel lighter too. For a long time, my heart was carrying a weight it was never meant to bear. I was holding on to expectations, replaying memories, and asking questions that had no answers. But somewhere along the way, I realized I couldn't heal while clinging to what God was asking me to release. So what changed? What helped you get here? I gave God back His place. I didn't stop loving people, but I stopped placing them on the throne of my heart. I returned my trust, my hope, and my identity to where they always belonged. When I did that, the pain didn't vanish overnight, but it stopped controlling me. I found peace not because everything was fixed, but because my foundation was. That kind of healing is deep. It's the kind that lasts. It's ongoing, but it's real. I'm learning to serve, to love, and to live again without fear of being abandoned. And for the first time in a long while, I feel whole, not because someone stayed, but because God never left.
Sarah. I've been meaning to say this for a while, but I didn't know how to approach you. The truth is, I didn't handle things well at all. When my life changed, I allowed pressure, pride, and distraction to guide my decisions instead of honesty. I pulled away without explaining myself, and I left you carrying questions I should have answered. I'm truly sorry.
I won't pretend your words don't matter, they do. For a long time, I waited for this acknowledgement, not to accuse you, but to understand. Your silence hurt deeply, not because you changed, but because you didn't have the courage to communicate while you did.
I see that now. At the time, I convinced myself I was just busy, but the truth is, I avoided difficult conversations. I chose convenience over clarity, and in doing so, I hurt someone who stood by me when I had nothing to offer. I regret that more than I can say.
I forgive you, Michael. Not because the pain didn't matter, but because carrying bitterness would only reopen wounds God has already started healing. However, forgiveness doesn't mean returning to the same place we were before. I've learned the importance of boundaries and of placing my trust where it belongs.
I understand. I'm not here to demand anything. I just needed you to know that I take responsibility for my actions.
Thank you for saying that. Accountability brings closure, even when restoration isn't possible. Michael, I forgive you. Not because what happened was easy, and not because the pain disappeared overnight, but because holding on to resentment would only keep me tied to a season God has already helped me outgrow. Forgiveness was part of my healing, and I chose it intentionally, even when it was difficult. But I've also learned something important through this journey. I've learned where my strength truly comes from. It doesn't come from people staying consistent, or from relationships remaining unchanged. It comes from God, the one who doesn't shift with circumstances, promotions, or seasons. When everything around me felt unstable, He became my anchor.
I can see that. You're different. Stronger.
I am. Not because I stopped caring, but because I started placing my trust correctly. I've learned to love without losing myself, to give without depending, and to walk forward without fear of being abandoned. That's a lesson I wouldn't trade, even though it came through pain.
I respect that. And I'm grateful you were honest with me.
This is where maturity brings us, not back to what was, but forward with wisdom. I wish you well, Michael. Truly. There was a time when every unanswered call, every change in tone, every moment of silence could steal my peace. I measured my worth by someone else's attention and my security by their consistency. I didn't realize how exhausting it was to live that way, constantly afraid of being left behind. When I finally let go and allowed God to fill the space I had reserved for people, everything shifted. I stopped chasing explanations and started embracing clarity. I learned that peace doesn't come from holding people tightly, it comes from holding God firmly. When God fills the gap, people no longer control your peace. Their presence becomes a blessing, not a necessity. Their absence becomes a lesson, not a wound. I'm no longer afraid of change. I'm grounded in something unchanging. And because of that, I can walk forward freely, at peace, whole, and unburdened. I've walked through seasons I never imagined, seasons of joy, disappointment, confusion, and heartache. I gave my trust, my love, and my hope to someone I thought would always be there. And yet, people change. They grow in ways we cannot control. They walk paths that diverge from ours, leaving silence in the spaces we once filled together. Promises we held onto so tightly can fail, not always through malice, but through life's unpredictable rhythm. But through it all, one truth has remained constant. God has not moved. His love has not wavered. His faithfulness has been my anchor in storms I thought I couldn't survive. When hearts shifted and trust was tested, He remained steadfast, reminding me that my peace, my worth, and my foundation cannot be shaken by human hands. He alone is unchanging, even when the world and people around me are in flux. Throughout life, we encounter people who inspire us, support us, and walk with us through seasons of joy and struggle. Some remain, some drift away, and some change in ways we never anticipated. And yet, even in their absence, there is a lesson to be learned. Trust people with wisdom, not with the foundation of your heart. Guard your heart carefully, love deeply, but never place your ultimate hope and security in anyone who can falter or drift. Your peace must rest on what is unshakable, eternal, and faithful. A slight pause as the text shifts. Trust God with your heart. Lean on Him in every season. When others fail, His faithfulness remains. When circumstances change, His love endures. When silence and absence seem unbearable, He is still there, guiding, strengthening, and restoring. Hebrews 13 verse 8 Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Thank you for taking the time to watch this story with us. Your support, encouragement, and prayers mean the world. Every view, like, comment, and share helps us continue creating stories that inspire, uplift, and bring hope to hearts everywhere. We are grateful for your patience as we grow, for your feedback that shapes our work, and for your willingness to journey with us through these lessons of faith, love, and resilience. Remember, trust wisely, love fully, and always place your heart in God's hands. He never changes, and His faithfulness endures forever. From all of us at Stories, thank you for watching. God bless you.